All right. I'm just going to wait a couple minutes before we get started. Just give it a minute or two. Wait till it's actually 5 o'clock. Whenever I told people I would be on. Uh, I'm going to leave this quiz up till 5:30, like I'd said. Uh, then at 5:30, I will take this quiz down and put up a review quiz on this on the Socrative room. That way, it's weird how my concurrence changed so drastically. Front is like a car, the back is like a truck, and the front is a book. I'm glad my vacuum finished vacuuming before I started streaming. Uh, all right. So, we've got a handful of people. It is 5 o'clock. So, let's get this started. Uh, so, Lesson 6. Which NEC article covers branch circuits? That's going to be 210. 210 covers branch circuits. Pretty simple. Which NEC article covers switches? We haven't even left the table of contents for these questions. 404 covers switches. Uh, so 404 covers switches, and Article 410 is divided into how many parts? Still table of contents right here. Uh, 15 parts. 410 is divided into 15 parts. You can see that in the table of contents. 3 and 4-way switches are required to be wired so that all switching is done only in the ungrounded circuit conductor, not service conductor. That'd be weird. So 404 is where we're going to be looking for that. Uh, so 404. Double throw, single throw, enclosures. Okay, 404.2a. It's like the second paragraph of the switches section is 3 and 4 is titled 3 and 4-way switches. It says 3 and 4-way switches shall be wired so that all switching is done only on the ungrounded conductor. So that's true. 404.2a. A circuit breaker used as a switch is permitted to disconnect the grounded conductor where all circuit conductors are disconnected simultaneously, or where okay, or where these devices arranged. So that's the next paragraph. That's just literally the next paragraph. 404.2b exception. It's the exception, so don't like it's in the little italics section of the book. You can look at it and see that. Uh, Next up is which of the following is not required to be listed? So, we know that receptacles and switches have to be listed. Like, we know that. So it's lamp holders, luminaires, or retrofit kits, which all those are going to be in Article 410. And this should be listing required. Well, it says in 410.6, listing required, all luminaires, lamp holders, and retrofit kits shall be listed. So my initial assumption was wrong. So let's go back to 406. 406, probably 0.6. It is not 406.6. Let's look in here. So 406.3A says receptacles shall be listed. So 404? It's got to be switches. That's the only thing left. Tamper wet locations. And I do not see anything about listing in the switches location, which you would think that switches would be listed. So C406.3A, which is where I looked, and 410.6. Alright, all 15 and 20 amp, 125 and 250 volts, non-locking type receptacles in the areas specified in 1 through 7 shall be listed tamper-proof. Tamper-resistant receptacles. An exception to this requirement applies when the receptacle is located more than blank feet above the floor. That's obviously in the receptacles section. So 406. Let's see. Controlled receptacle installation, non-metallic boxes. There's definitions. Non-grounding, arc fault. Tamper-resistant receptacles. That is... I bet I have it listed. Got myself. So that's going to be... So it's got to be 406.3. D5. No? No, that's not it. I could do this a lot faster if I use the index. But that's not why I'm here. Well, that's the only spot I see tamper-proof anything. grounding type to be grounded, methods of grounding, replacements. I don't know. 5.5. So let's flip to the back. Receptacles, tamper-proof. I'm looking up receptacles in the index, then tamper-proof. After that, 406.12 or 406.12. There's a whole paragraph. Tamper-resistant receptacles, dwelling units, child care facilities, yada yada yada. Exception when they are above 5.5 foot. So it's exception number 1. There. And then, which of the following addresses receptacles installed in damp or wet locations? So that's 406.9, and that's the title of that section. 406.9 is receptacles in damp or wet locations. Big bold letters. Pretty easy to find. I thought I only had 8 questions. Decorative lighting and similar accessories used for holiday lighting and similar purposes in accordance with 590.3b are required to be listed. I don't think so. They are. Okay. So that's 410.160. Oh, luminaires. Okay, I was for some reason I was thinking in the receptacle section. It's been a long day. And then so this is switches, so that's going to take us to 404. Grouping, I'm going to say, is what we're looking at. Accessibility and grouping is 404.8. Voltage between adjacent devices, 404.8b. So that's 404.8b. And that voltage is 300 volts. So that means there's no way to touch 2 things and get 300 volts. That's what they're saying. You can't put them together. Basically, you can't put like 2 different phases in the same box. Or a high voltage phase and a low voltage phase. Or like you have to pay attention to what the voltages available in that box are. You can't just like, well, it's all low voltage, it's all 120 volts. Because there could be some instances with like 3-phase systems where you can mess around and get it up high. Alright, I am going to cut this off here. Unless anybody has any questions right before we go. Alright. If you do come up with any questions, hit me up in Discord or in yeah, just like Tom did. Hit me up in Discord or in my phone. I'm going to leave the quiz up till 5:30, and then I will put up the total review quiz that I've already gone over everything. So that's just for you guys to study it on your own. All right. You guys have a good evening.